Hello and welcome to EVs and Beyond. I'm Richard Woods and today we are at the Sydney International EV Show. Now this is a new one that's popped up on the calendar. This is not to be confused with the Electrify Everything show that we were at earlier this year. It's a bit different, a bit more I think broader than Electrify Everything. But it has something that's pretty key, and the reason why I've flown over today, and that it has multiple new Chinese brands that are landing in Australia, and thusly will soon land in New Zealand on show. So yeah, we're going to have a few specific videos from here today, but let's start off with just a little bit of a walk and talk around the show. Right, so let's start right in the entrance. We have a Tesla Roadster, dark star plate there. Driven one of these before, thanks to the great Steve West. There's the interior if anyone hasn't seen it. These are neat cars. I'm not sure how much many of them are being driven these days. They seem to be becoming more museum pieces. Now, we'll go around the edge and work our way to the center. If we come over here, we have the BMW stand. They, of course, have a very strong electric vehicle range. Today they're showing the iX1, iX2, and i5. They have the ability to drive a massive range of vehicles here if you are interested in test driving an electric vehicle. So, big stage there. We come around over here. Toyota has turned up to the show with two versions of the BZ4X. Now, it's a controversial car, the BZ4X, but as you know, I'm actually a bit of a fan of it. It's a very, very strong and handy vehicle to live with, certainly compared to some others. Now, as always at an Australian show, there are some conversions, and this one over here caught my eye. This is an electrified Mercedes Gillenwagen, a G-Wagon. So perfect for going off-road, silently-ish. I'm sure there's some gearbox noise. Got a Porsche there. And I've seen this vehicle before, a very tidy Volkswagen Type 3, I believe. Now if we come over here, another stand that shows up regularly at Australian shows, and that's the Australian Tesla Owners Association. So big run of cars there, including a Highland Performance. Of course, those are landing in New Zealand now as well. We'll have a review of one of these coming up very soon. If we keep moving along the outside, we have Audi, one of the pioneers really of the electric vehicle industry in New Zealand, big driver. There's an SQ6, and then if we duck behind the wall over here, they have multiple e-tron models, the Q4 over at one end, and the Big Daddy e-tron in the middle. Now, there's nothing on at the moment. They have a theatre here where they have multiple speakers throughout the day, being hosted, I think, largely by Tom Gann of Ludicrous Feed, if you're a fan of him. Now, as with most EV shows, you have a lot of charging on offer. I believe Evernex has come across, and they're somewhere here. MSI, who are getting into EV charging, the big computer manufacturer, gaming computers, that kind of stuff. Well, they're doing EV charging now too. Now over here we have more from the dealer side, some Volvos, the C40 and X40. Great little cars, sharing that platform with the other Geely Group cars, things like the Zeekers and so forth. And then BYD, we have an 803, a Seal, and a Sea Lion 6, yes. Amazing EV over here. Now that's like a Trade Me for used electric vehicles that's operating in Australia. So we have some smaller booths over here around the back of the BYD stand. Bit of a muted stand for BYD here, to be honest. I would expect more from them, but yeah, who knows. We have some software here, I think more aimed at vehicle dealers, but they've got a take-in on show. And then here, and that's where I say we're slightly broader, we have what, we were told ANCAP was having a crashed electric vehicle here, but it's actually a electrified vehicle, a GWM Canon Alpha, which is an electrified hybrid ute. Interesting to see that there. And over here, a go-kart track. You can race go-karts. Maybe come back and give that a go later on. Hankook is here with a Formula E car. That is very cool, though I've just realized that's possibly more of a shape of a Formula E car made out of fiberboard than an actual Formula E car. Yep, that's what it is. And just running through past the Europcar stand, they have a Seat Cupra Tavascan here, which is their electric SUV, bigger than the Born obviously, based on the Volkswagen ID platform. That is a mean looking SUV. Now, if we come back towards the center, this is where it starts to get a little bit more interesting. Over here we have the Zeeker stand. And doesn't this just stand out quite a lot? Trying to get a handle on what Zika that is actually. Sure does stand out in that yellow. What model is this one?
This is the Zeeker luxury sedan.
Luxury sedan, right. Alright. So bright in that yellow. Interesting finish at the front. Right here we have the 001. Quite a big luxury sports sedan there. Very much looking sporty with that one. And if we look inside there, that's a very plush Alcantara interior. Big screen there. They're really going for that sports premium end of the market. Now, one of the vehicles I really want to look at here, and we'll come to a close look later, is the 009. Now, we will see this as a Zika, hopefully at some point in the near future, but also in a very similar form as a Volvo. And this is a big vehicle. 3 rows of luxury seating, electric doors, again, big screens in the interior, and a waterfall grille at the front, which is at times lit up with LEDs. It's not running at the moment, but yes, very interesting setup there. And over here, a car that's probably going to be their best seller at this end of the world, at least initially, the X. So kind of a small to medium SUV, perhaps a little bit small to be a Model Y fighter, but certainly a more premium option, I think, to that kind of meat of the market we're seeing at the moment with things like the BYD Atto 3 and the Leap Motor. I don't expect this to be anywhere near in the same price market. It is a lot more premium than that, but certainly appealing. Now, if we cross over here, we actually go to the Deepal stand. Now, this is another Chinese brand that's entering Australia, and we believe will be coming to New Zealand following. This is the G318 concept car. I don't see an engine on the front, so this appears to be, at least at the start, an electrified vehicle, or an electric vehicle. Giant screens there, so it's clearly a Chinese model. It is a big vehicle with some real off-road intentions. Again, I don't see a tailpipe, so that one must be electrified, but being a concept, hard to tell. Similarly, they have a concept over here, the E07. Now this is, some have said, slightly a ute, a little bit of a take on the Cybertruck. Sort of. Seems to be more of an SUV with a slope back that opens at the top. But fairly interesting vehicle. I'm not sure it's necessarily going to be fantastic for many work sites, but certainly is an alternative lifestyle vehicle for the weekend. This looks really interesting. Still a concept, I believe, the E07. It's telling us at the front. So many of these Chinese cars have LED screens in the front, autopilot. Quite an interesting take on that segment. e-bikes, a few scooters over there, and then some more Deepals. They've got quite the range already. So here we have the Deepal S07, again kind of medium SUV. If we have a look over here, it's rear-wheel drive, 160 kilowatts and 320 newton meters, 475 kilometers of WLTP range from a 80 kilowatt battery, 92 kilowatt fast charging, that's okay. But yeah, interesting vehicle there. I'm not sure if Deepal's necessarily going to be aiming for the top of the market, if it's more of a mid-market offering. The furnishings to me would indicate that, which is good. We need more in that segment. Now what have we got over here? Another SUV of a similar size range. Really nice interiors on them. Another S07, rear-wheel drive again. It's a different color. It's a really nice looking car, really futuristic looking car. And lastly on the Deepal stand we have the S05. So again, a crossover SUV, a bit smaller. This one's a concept car. Sizable rear seat. And yeah, nice, simple, well-made looking interior. That looks really kind of set to get into that maybe Atto 3 Plus market, maybe going up against the electrified C-Line when it comes to the New Zealand. Now, over at the Ford stand, we have the Marquee. Now, we've seen the Marquee a lot. It's arriving in Australia. Obviously very popular in New Zealand the last month. It's our top-selling electrified vehicle. But what we have here is the Ford Ranger plug-in hybrid. So they're demonstrating the fact it's got the Pro Power on board here in the back. Lots of items running off that, including the TV, I believe. Electric grille. Really pushing that lifestyle aspect. So this is the difference to what we don't normally see in a Ranger in New Zealand. We have over here the fuel flat, petrol in this case. It's a petrol plug-in hybrid, and then we have the Type 2 charging port. No DC charging. Different wheels. These are new wheels. We haven't seen them on a Ranger before either. We come around here. It says it's a PHEV and Storm Track. It's a new model there. Got the Pro Power on board screen showing the vehicle discharging. And around at the front, looks pretty much the same as any other Ranger except for the addition of the PHEV badging. The Marquee over there again. Good. Fan of the Marquee. Now if we come across the lane, we see the Chery stand. Now I've been to China with Chery, and one of their big things they love was these robotic cats or dogs. Oh, might do a trick for us. Hello. Maybe he'll jump. No. There you go. Let's have a look at their cars. So if we go over here, we have the Amoda E5. Now, of course, you can jump on our channel and see the full review of that. A sub $50,000 vehicle, 60 kilowatt hour battery or 50 kilowatt hour battery option as well. Good range. It's a good all-round little electric vehicle as far as we're concerned. And it has some front space. So that's their electrified offering at this point. Now if we come around a little bit further, we have some vehicles from Segway 9bot, those go-karts that we showed earlier, whole pile of scooters. Might be handy for when the Auckland trains shut up for 96 days coming soon. We have the BP safety car. So this is actually a safety car for, I believe, the V8 supercars in Australia. So really impressive to see electric cars are entering that motorsport realm. Now, we have over here the EV5 GT line. We've had a look at that before. We're actually driving one at the moment. It's actually coming out of soft launch in New Zealand, which is great. We have the EV9 in the center, a vehicle that I think was one of the best EVs launched in the last year in the New Zealand market. And then through here, the EV6. Crossing back over the middle aisle again, we go to GWM. Now, they of course do sell electric vehicles in the form of Aura, but they've got possibly more hybrids these days. So we have the Tank 500 hybrid in the middle there. In the centre here we have the Aura EV. Again, good strong little small EV, that one. And then the Val Jolion hybrid. And then we go over to another stand, which is another brand we will be seeing in the near future in New Zealand, and that is Xpeng. Now, Xpeng are one of the real big success stories in the EV market in China, and they no doubt will do very well in New Zealand when they arrive. They're probably the closest thing China has to Tesla, I would suggest, and they ate their model range really closely. And you can see that with the G6. I mean, the roofline on that suggests it's very much leaning towards the Tesla Model Y. The interior, there, we might go there so you get a bit of a look. Some room there in the back. Oh, pop-up spoiler coming up at the right time for us there. Yeah, I'm not sure they're going to be selling this anytime soon, but it is a electrified, I guess it's flying car, a drone that can carry people, which is great. Interesting to see that comes here. I'm not sure it's real because I can't imagine what those blades touched or damaged. Now we have this big beast of a thing, which is an SUV, though it looks like at the moment it's down on its air suspension and it looks more of a wagon. But this is definitely something, the G9, that might make Audi with the e-tron a little bit nervous. So big 3-row SUV, very much in the luxury space, this one. Concept car, well, this is a concept car, but it's left-hand drive, so clearly not quite ready for market in Australia yet. Over here we have their people mover, so it's got a really interesting rear line for mover, this, but lots of space. That's the space behind the rear third row, which is massively impressive. Sliding doors, big screen for the kids in the back, and an even bigger screen for mum and dad in the front. Lots of LED lighting. Yeah, the X9. New Zealanders, Australians haven't really been big on people movers, but it's a question, I think, whether more value-oriented options out of China and electrification might change that. And over here we have the G6 again, and we'll just duck in and see the boot on this thing. Reasonable. Bit of room underneath. No one seems quite to be able to match the room of the boot of a Model Y yet. Again, very busy here, hard to get a close look at stuff specifically. But yeah, good looking cars there from Xpeng. Now that is pretty much, oh wait, no, there's one more stand to have a look at. And that is a car that is confirmed for New Zealand and is coming very soon through the Armstrong groups, and that is Smart. So over here we have the number one, the Smart One, I guess. I'm not sure if you're supposed to say the hash or not. But it's a cute little SUV, closely linked to the Zeeker X and the Volvo XC30. So yeah, cute little SUV. Very mini-esque in its styling, and interior styling in particular. Again, they love a big screen. A compact boot there, but not too bad. And then over this other side, we have their bigger option. Well, their bigger option for now. They have the 5 coming, which is a lot bigger, like Outlander size. This is the number 3. Interesting wheels there, or aero covers on those wheels. This is more of a hatchbacky kind of slope back, and very mini-esque styling inside. Reasonable rear, and then yeah, almost Mercedes-like back there, which particularly these rear lights, which I guess you expect because this was I think remains a joint venture with Mercedes-Benz. So that's the last of the stands. Just one more car we'll finish on over here. And that is this one here, the MG Cyberster. Now don't forget, go to our YouTube channel now to watch our full first drive of this car. So that's a quick walk around the Sydney International Electric Vehicle Show. Don't forget, like and subscribe. We'll have more videos from this show. And yeah, stay tuned for more great content.